I'm Ryan Davis.
And I'm Kiernan Schmidt.
And this is Out of Office, a travel podcast.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Kiernan.
How are you? Oh, you're looking very well.
I am so well.
We both have big smiles on our faces because we've recently been traveling.
We have been traveling. You just got back from a really cool-looking trip.
Yeah, in Iceland, which...
Wow.
You were pretty wrong about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Not being taped.
I do want to
Is that what young people say, that it's taped?
I do want to issue a formal retraction. I was wrong. They do film episodes, sections of Game of Thrones in Iceland, and I was wrong.
I think maybe so a little bit of a preview here. Next episode is going to be about Iceland. I think maybe we should start with you doing a recalculating about how I was right about Game of Thrones. I'll tell you another reason, Ryan, that I got a big smile on my face is because today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, souvenirs. I love souvenirs.
Souvenirs are great.
I like searching for them. I like looking at them once I have them. Mementos, keepsakes, bric-a-brac, trophies, tokens. I think I've hit them all. Pins, patches. Yeah.
Postcards?
Postcard count as a souvenir?
Absolutely.
I think if you buy it as an art object, it is a souvenir. But if you buy it to send it to someone, not a souvenir. That's what I would say.
You're giving them a souvenir.
We're jumping way too far into the philosophy part of the conversation. First, we got to get to everybody's favorite segment, which we promise we'll finish at Christmas. Just a couple more weeks, folks, to use Ryan's favorite phrase. Actually, just a couple more weeks, folks, isn't a bad tagline. Let's put that in the maybe pile as we endeavor on the quest for a tagline. Ryan, this is your week. So have you done your work?
Yes. So I've been playing around with the idea of a journey.
I can see a wall of Post-its behind you. I assume each and every one of those.
That was a lot of idea generating. But I came up with a few that I think are very good.
Okay. Honed original work.
Yeah, original. As much as anything is original.
That's true. Everything's been done.
So, are you ready for this?
All right. I'm going to sit back, relax. I'm the client. Get ready to pitch me.
All right. So it is Out of Office, a travel podcast. World's...
What? God almighty. What is it?
I'm just trying to pick a good one because I have so many. All right.
How many? 1,786 or whatever. Whatever
1,076, okay?
Whatever that website pushes it out. Okay.
Pushes out the same ones every time. So.
And you just love to just pick and choose. We're definitely going to find it this way.
All right. Out of Office, a travel podcast. Take a journey and smile.
Actually, that really applies to me describing the big smiles that we have today.
Yeah, we traveled, we smiled, and that's because we took a journey. And
the only thing is, a lot of times we're recording, a trip is 4 months off, 8 months off, or we've just come back, and we're not very smiley when that's the case.
No,
both deeply depressed people. So, to me, unless you pack something in there to take care of the frowns, the like 48 weeks of frowning.
Yeah.
I just don't think it captures the spirit. I don't think we're all smiles.
Yeah. No, we're not all smiles, but we do smile when we travel.
Yeah. Smile whilst traveling. Nah, I don't know.
How about this
goes no. Yeah.
How about this?
All right.
Out of Office, a travel podcast. Take a lifelong journey.
Ooh. I like it.
I know.
I like it because it's the journey of life and keeping the journey alive and travel. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What's it stolen from?
It doesn't tell me.
Oh, it doesn't tell you.
No. We'd have to search.
But you know which word was replaced.
The word journey. Yeah.
Oh, you're using the word journey this week. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Say it one more time.
Take a lifelong journey.
Take a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
I mean, that really, it gets to sort of an existential question of if you're perpetually journeying, are you ever on a trip?
But shouldn't you make your life a journey? Shouldn't you approach life
Certainly
with the same
feels
vigor?
like a journey.
The same vigor we approach traveling?
Yeah, but the thing is, if we expand traveling to mean all of life, then what does this podcast really stand for?
It does give us a more to talk about because
talk about chores. Your chores are travel, and I don't know. It seems a little too broad. I need something very specific, something we can own, something we can put on a T-shirt, on a hat, on a pair of socks.
Yeah. Okay. I think that I've got.
You've cracked the nut on this one.
Perfect one.
I am highly skeptical that that's true, especially because I can see you reading through the list, trying to pick some random one that you didn't prepare beforehand. All right, go ahead.
All right. Okay. Are you ready for this?
All right. You're like those baseball players. You're like, all right, I'm going to knock the bat on the ground, and then I'm going to hit it on my cleats. Then I'm going to lift it up, then it's going right back down to the ground. Got to hit those cleats. Got to get dirt that, maybe dust off the base a little bit. All right, come on.
Journey, one is not enough.
I think I just don't like the word journey, honestly.
Yeah, well, it's possible.
Because I think it's what?
I'm with you.
I think journey. I mean, first off, I think it evokes the band Journey, which is very divisive.
It doesn't invoke that to anybody under the age of 55.
Well, we're both in our late 70s. So, but I also think not every trip is a journey. You know what I mean? So I think, because I think we like to talk about day trips, local hikes, as well as epic journeys.
What about the word escape? Like something like, we're serious about escape. Or
honestly, that really that fit better with the jail episode.
A taste for escape. Yeah.
A taste for escape sounds like, Sandals Resort, I would say.
It's a pretty good tagline. Sandals does pretty well.
It does do pretty well.
Have you ever stayed at a Sandals?
No, have you?
No, God no. I
don't like seeing people's feet, so I couldn't go to a Sandals resort.
Yeah, I don't want to eat at a buffet for 7 days. That sounds horrible.
Which goes along with cruise ships too. Also not my bag.
Yeah.
So again, you have failed to produce anything that's useful. Right now, we have one in the hopper. This seat taken.
This seat taken is my mom's favorite. She texted me out of the blue and she said, "Is this seat taken?"
Oh, Judy!
I know. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So she's on board with this.
And that one came from genuine thought.
Yeah.
It didn't come from random Googling at shopify.pleasemakmeaslogan.org or whatever you use.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have one more to play us out on?
Out of Office, a travel podcast. Let the escape begin.
I would like that. If every week we said
an oral escape.
An oral. Okay, I still love an oral escape. Let the escape begin. I like if you say it like a horse racer. So
how do you do that?
Out of Office, a travel podcast. Let the escape begin.
That's sort of like a wrestler, though, right? Let's get ready to escape.
I don't. It's good. Yeah, that did sound. If our mics hung down from the ceiling, maybe it would be a better fit. But yeah, I think, boy, we got a lot of work to do before Christmas.
We do.
Otherwise, this seat taken is, your mom will be very happy.
She will, yeah.
All right. I think it's time for us to get to the meat of episode, souvenirs.
Let's take off.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
All right, Ryan. Souvenirs. We're going to talk about what makes a good souvenir, what type of souvenir you and I each like, and then maybe a couple of our favorites, some of the highlights from our collections.
Some of the great souvenirs that we purchased.
I went deep into the archives, went back into the warehouse, and pulled out a couple of my favorites.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear that.
My dream would be to have, in Indiana Jones, when they put the Ark of the Covenant back into a box deep in a warehouse in a wooden crate and they just lower it into place.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would like to have so many souvenirs that I need one of those.
I think that you are well on your way.
I am well on my way. So, Ryan, what do you think makes a good souvenir? What do you look for?
I look for something that is unique that you cannot get in New York City, where I live, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a very high bar.
Well, it is.
You get most things in New York City.
So often I travel with people and they buy things that are like on Amazon. And I'm like, why? Like, what's the point? What's the point of that? I mean, I like something that is handmade, locally made. Those are the things. So when I look at it, I actually, I remember this, the trip that I took, or so something that really, is unique. Like one of my favorite souvenirs that I've ever bought was in Moscow, and it's a Russian doll, and it's got a picture of George W. Bush and Putin, like smiling at each other. And then every time that you open it, inside is a smaller American president until you get to the very tiniest.
Huh. Who's the tiniest?
I don't remember, but I could
gotta
look.
be. I think we've established James Madison was the
probably.
shortest president.
I don't know that Madison's the kind of figure you look at, you immediately identify him. Though,
I mean, Putin's power is long, and it goes all the way back to Madison.
All the way back to Madison. He installed Madison. Folks don't know.
I can imagine them making a version of that Russian doll now, but just Trump is like a giant outer layer. The amount that they control him is represented in the size of the doll.
Yeah, I've thought about having it remade and have a bigger
have an outer layer made.
Yeah, put Obama on top and yeah.
Why would Obama be in there though?
Obama signed the START treaty with Russia. I mean, he was a good he had good Russian policy.
So I definitely agree with you on the unique factor. I'm always on the lookout. I mean, I think it's very hard nowadays to know when you're looking around souvenir shops. How do you know these things were actually made nearby?
Yeah.
I think many of them are mass-produced kind of trinkets.
Well, I always look and I always ask. But if you go to if you kind of are downtown, or you can go to like a market, you can usually find like a local artist bazaar or something. And I've gotten into the habit of always buying my mother a piece of jewelry whenever I travel. So she's got like earrings from Bratislava, and she's got like this beautiful necklace from Dubai, and like so that's one of the things I'm always looking for when I travel, and you find those often in like little art markets or kind of places where there's
locals. You've been a lot of places. Your mom must have a hell of a collection, walking around like Mrs. Howell from Gilligan's Island, just decked out in all these international jewels.
A lot of Eastern European costume jewelry.
Do you always get your mom? You said you always give your mom something, right?
Yeah, that's sort of my. I buy less souvenirs for myself and more stuff for my mom.
Yeah, I only buy one or two things per trip. I never come back. I have a friend who he just loads up. I mean, literally needs like a second suitcase or backpack just to like carry back all the souvenirs. I like to get one or two things that really capture the experience for me. I too try to do the research of, is there a marketplace or a local artisan where I can actually like talk to the person who's going to create the thing or who has created the thing, because then it's authentic.
Right.
I have, it will not surprise you, a very catchy framework that I use.
A framework?
A framework. I like, it's the Schmidt Souvenir framework for excellent souvenir buying.
Is this an Excel
I
formula?
put the word souvenir in it twice, just so you really know what it is.
So what is this framework of yours?
It's the 3 Ps. Are you ready?
Oh, gosh.
First P, price.
Because sure, yeah. Because you're Kiernan. You're a thrifty guy.
I'm a frugal Freddy.
This is a guy who flies WOW Airlines, okay?
Which also, by the way, ties into how heavy the souvenir can be. I don't have I don't have a P that goes to the weight, but that's actually. Oh no, I'm wrong. The second P gets right to the weight.
What is the second P?
So the first is price.
Price.
Where I don't want to spend too much. And by the way, this has led to some regrets that I want to talk about. So the first P is price. The second P, portability.
Portability.
So that has to be, do I have room in my suitcase for it? Especially, am I going to have to ship it? I mean, that
you can't,
affects the
shipping
first
it is a no-go for me.
I agree. I've never bought anything large enough that I had to ship it.
I'm always looking at things and ambitiously in my mind going, I could ship that. And then I realize, no, that would be, I'm just setting myself up for a huge disappointment somewhere along the line.
To me, I just know that if I found, a lamp or a carpet or some great houseware, that I picked out especially in this market, I would get it home. 2 weeks later, I'd be walking by a Pottery Barn. They would have, something that was 90% the same thing for half the price of the shipping and buying in the window. So I just feel like, and while I could still take pride that I had bought it internationally, I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. And the final P, I think, gets to your point about authenticity, uniqueness. It is potency. It is how potently does this bring back to me the memory of the place? I want to be able to hold it in my hand, to look at it on my shelf, and to know that it's going to bring back all the memories, to transport me, to capture something about that trip that I experienced.
I think that is the key. That final P, I think, is the most important of your
final
framework.
P.
Yeah.
Potency. And so I personally, I will usually aim for something that's worthy of a place on my bookshelf, or probably the highest platform you can give it, my desk. If you can make it to the desk, ooh baby, is that a good souvenir? So potency. I also think potency can come through as utility. So is it useful? I find if I can buy something that I'm actually going to use in daily life, that is somewhat unique, that I will appreciate that. I consider that to be a potent souvenir.
Well, if you're traveling to Amsterdam, potency has an entirely different meaning, right?
I don't know. I don't get that. I don't understand that.
It could be a very potent souvenir that you probably shouldn't fly with.
So looking around, do you have any souvenirs that you would particularly say fit those 3 Ps: price, portability, potency?
Yeah, I think that the Russian doll, I think, is a great example of a souvenir that I'm super happy with, and I've had now since my 2007 trip to
Do you have it on display?
I do. It's on my living room bookshelf.
And
people play with it at parties. They'll see it, and it's like very strange to have
I would say back
Vladimir
away.
Putin.
That is not what it's for.
No, but I do like to show it off because I think it's only gotten funnier in the as.
I mean, that's funnier broadly defined. Funny in the moment, but not in the bigger level.
Exactly.
Do you have it with all the different layers out next to it, or do you keep it all together?
I keep it all together because I really like the picture of Bush and Putin on it. And you know me, I've already got a bunch of presidents on the same shelf. So, at some point, too many presidents on the shelf there.
And do you have any others out on display like that?
On this shelf, I do. I have a pipe that I bought at the pyramids in Mexico City, which is
like a smoking pipe,
like a puff pipe. Yeah, and it's got little face of I don't know how to describe it. But it's like a kind of face that you would see carved in a pyramid, perhaps. And it as a pipe, it has no utility. You can't actually.
Have you ever used it?
I have tried. I've tried to use it.
Well, maybe you can weave a tube through it and just vape through it. You can make it into a sort of an ancient Aztec vapor.
I think they actually sold those next to the actual pipe. So
where did you get this pipe?
At the pyramids in Mexico City.
And do you think this fits the authenticity? That sounds to me like mass market.
It is absolutely not authentic.
Yeah.
No.
Because I will say, so this moves me on to something I think about, which is kitschy. Is it kitschy? Is there value to kitschiness? Does kitschiness mean that I shouldn't buy it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying folk art or from a local artisan, the kitsch factor can be pretty high, and you're going to have to
now, do you think so? Because I don't think of that as kitsch. I think of local art as authentic. Kitsch, I think of as, maybe it's like, an Eiffel Tower keychain. It's I know that it's mass produced.
That's high kitsch. Yeah.
Well, actually, if you're using the pipe correctly, that might be high kitsch.
I do think that when you go to like folk art and you're looking at local artisans, there's a dividing line between people who make things that they know will sell to tourists.
Mm-hmm.
So like the guys in Midtown Manhattan who are spray painting 9/11 memorials, right? Like those are kitschy, even though they're sort of local artists.
They're
so I think
garish and they're playing into exactly what you're expecting to get at that place.
Right. So you've got to look for the artisans that are like not deliberately going for the tourist dollar, or at least not as like overtly sort of like, painting things that are specifically like out of the tour guidebooks.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I try not to kind of junk up the house with too much kitschy stuff.
Right.
But I do have a weakness for certain kitschy objects. So I'll tell you one of my favorite souvenirs that I have, and I had to search long and hard for it, was I was in Bhutan, which is a Buddhist country, and I was walking down the street and I saw in a car, they had on the dashboard a miniature Buddhist prayer wheel. So if you know when you visit a Buddhist temple, there's often these large cylinders outside, and the idea is as you walk around it and you're contemplating and praying, you spin these wheels, and the wheels have prayers on them, and the idea is each time you spin it, the prayer is being said. And this one was solar powered. So on the dashboard, it would naturally spin all day long. And I like the idea of covering all my religious bases.
And just having the prayers going 24/7 is nice.
Exactly. So I thought, it depends on daylight, really. Maybe
it's keep a light on.
Right, you keep a light on, sure. Yeah. And so I looked long and hard, and I found, and it's very kitschy. It's like bright golden plastic. But I love putting it on the sill by the window and just having the Buddha get those prayers and thoughts each and every day.
That's nice.
Of course, for all I know, it probably says, I'm a hack tourist who bought this. Please disregard all this noise.
Now, did the Buddha have a solar powered one of these, you think? Or that doesn't seem authentic to me?
I know, the inner light was enough for him.
Right.
Whereas for me...
Touché. That's good.
All I know is that when I look inside, not much there. So I'm trying to capitalize on the outer light. That's really where I think I can get ahead.
When you say that, it might say that you're a dumb tourist. I bought my mom.
I said a hack tourist, but thanks for throwing that in.
When I was in Dubai, I went to the Gold Souk, which is in old Dubai. You have to take a little boat across, and it's sort of the only part of the city that hasn't been massively overbuilt. Consumer capital of the world. And so it's basically a little street full of a bunch of gold merchants. And I went in, and it was early in my trip. I was there for 7 days, so it was early in my trip, and I wanted to get my mom a piece of jewelry, and so I got them to put the name Judy in Arabic and make it in this beautiful sort of white gold setting. And I have confirmed since I've gotten back that it does actually say Judy.
Oh, all right.
But for the longest time, I'm like, this could pretty much say anything.
Yeah, an asshole's mother.
Yeah, my mom's wearing this all around town in Eastern Shore, Maryland, and it says something horrible in Arabic. Nobody would know.
Actually, wearing that around Eastern Shore, Maryland is dangerous, even if it says Judy.
Exactly. But we did get it confirmed. It is Judy.
That's good. Who did you confirm it with out of interest?
My mom had a friend who, believe it or not, spoke Arabic on the Eastern Shore of Maryland and did confirm that was the name Jude.
I mean, I will say that that is a little kitschy to me, but I've seen the Arabic writing, and those are beautiful, and I understand why Westerners are interested in trying to get something that reflects the artistry of the lettering.
Yeah, I think that it might be a little kitschy, but because it was made locally, because it was there, it was like a little gold shop. It wasn't like at the mega mall. It felt authentic.
Yeah, it could have been it's actually the souk outpost of the mega mall.
I'm sure they made it. I'm sure they just put a quarter in some machine somewhere and it like made it. But.
Yeah. How about edible? Do you go for edible souvenirs when you're traveling?
I do not fly with food home. Almost, I don't think I've ever done that. I have. I guess when we were in Russia, we brought home vodka and we brought home caviar.
Whoa! But how did you? So you checked vodka?
Yeah, checked vodka.
Yeah.
Bottles
See,
of vodka.
I really won't do liquids because I'm terrified of them exploding all over my bag.
Well, it doesn't seem worth it. Like even when I'm in Mexico, there's great tequila, there's some good wine, but I can get all that in New York at one of my lovely independent liquor stores here. So it's like, why am I flying?
Now, Ryan, do you have any like souvenirs that got away? Ones that you had in your hand or you saw behind the glass, you thought, I need that, but then
a pickpocket got it.
That's the last episode. How many times are we going to talk about pickpocket? Yeah, or somebody took it away. But is there a souvenir that you didn't bring home that you still think about to this day?
Absolutely not. No, I'm a person who, when I want something, I try to get it, Kiernan.
Oh my! I mean, the reason I asked this because I have one that it haunts me. I still think about it, and it's when I was in Peru last June, Catherine and I spent some time in the rainforest, and we saw the largest rodent on Earth, which is called a capybara. Okay.
You can't bring that home with you.
No,
Right?
no. My top choice would have been a taxidermied capybara. But instead, there was in this shop this beautifully sculpted wooden model of a capybara. And I wanted it so much I could see it on my shelf. I have just the space for it. And I looked at it and it was $70. And I just didn't know whether it was worth $70. And so I put it back. I said, I don't need it. Walked away. And I've regretted it ever since. Turned out I needed it. And so I reached back out to the store, which reached back out to the sculptor. And I got in touch with them. And they said with shipping and packaging and getting you a new one, it would be $250.
You should have bought like 10 of them and brought them back here.
I know.
Flipped them for $200 each.
It was a huge mistake. I posted to Facebook, is there anyone I know in Lima that can just go over to the store to get it for me? And as it turns out, I know no one in Lima.
No one.
And I think you even responded to the post and said, I'll go if you need me to.
Well, next time I'm in Lima, I will pick you up a carved
capybara.
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 Chesser.
God, it's just callback central. So anyway, it was the expense, and I do struggle with. I try not to buy sort of overly expensive. Though for the right thing, I've now learned from the capybara incident, the Great Capybara disaster of 2017. You know, sometimes you can loosen those purse strings.
Yeah, I bought a expensive rug in
Was
Istanbul.
it more expensive than $70?
It was more expensive than $70.
Wowee.
So I don't know if you've been to Istanbul, Kiernan.
No, I haven't.
Well, there are some pretty aggressive sales folks there, okay? And I was with my friend Eugene, and we were walking down the street, and this guy pulls us into his carpet shop. And it's beautiful. There are carpets everywhere, and he sits us down, and somebody who works there brings us some tea, and he starts talking about New York and how much he loves America. He starts like throwing these rugs down on the floor and showing me each one.
You are getting the razzle dazzle.
I'm getting the razzle dazzle, and they're like, then they throw them and they make this great noise, and it's like there's so many people
sort
running
of a
around.
kerthump.
Yeah, a great kerthump though.
Kerthump.
Like very satisfying. I wanted to get up and throw them down myself.
They sound thick and luscious.
They were. And, so I was like, not really in the market for like, this kind of product, this sort of rug. And I was like, well, I haven't got my mom anything yet. And, it would be nice. So how much is it? And the guy's like, he tells me the price. And let me tell you, it was a little more than I was.
A little north of what you were expecting.
North of $70, And I was like, whoa, how do I get out of here? And really, there's just no way to get, because he's laid the carpets all around me. So I'm pretty much like, I'm basically surrounded by 3 foot of carpet everywhere
ensconced in carpet.
Yeah, I can't move. I'm holding this tea.
So
my friend's
he's
next to me.
basically making you pay to escape bounds of carpet.
I do feel that if I do not, I'm like, look, I know that people go in buildings in Istanbul and don't come out. So like,
You're either being rolled up in a carpet or you're buying a carpet.
Right.
Yeah.
So we go back and forth, and it is a fierce negotiation because I don't really even want this carpet. I just kind of want. How much do I have to?
You drank the tea. You didn't have to drink the tea. You didn't have to stay in there.
So it goes on 20 minutes back and forth until I finally
fierce bargain.
Finally make this deal. And I don't even know if it was a good deal, but I just wanted to be done with the carpet buying experience.
Can I ask? How north of $70 this ended up?
It was a little bit. It was quite north. It's a beautiful prayer rug. It's got Noah's Ark
for your Catholic mother.
My Catholic mother.
It has an Old Testament. Good.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah. No, I think she hung it up. It looks beautiful in her house. So we finally managed to make this deal, and I'm paying with my credit card, and my friend Eugene, he's like, well, what carpet can we give you? And I'm like, no, we're not going through all this again. We're not going through all this again. We're just getting the one
just
carpet.
The one, yeah.
Just the one
We don't
carpet.
need 2. We don't need an animal for the ark. One for Ryan, one for Eugene. Yeah.
So he might have been disappointed, but I did get out of there with a rug, and it was beautiful. It was kind of hard to bring home. I had to carry it and everything.
I find that after you do that bargaining, I always feel like I got screwed no matter what I paid.
Yeah, I don't know what the number was I was supposed to be going for. I didn't want to be like insulting. And I had gone into this store and like, normally I would Google like, how much does a Turkish rug cost? To get some idea about what the real value here is. But Of course, the internet doesn't work, and I'm buried in these rugs.
Right.
So I had to make my move to get out of there.
I think that a future episode's got to be the bargaining process.
Yeah, you and I are like, you know,
terrible at it,
anxious and bad at it. I'm
sure.
sure.
I just throw $10 bills until they let me escape. Please,
Yeah.
Please, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I should have hired this guy to run biz dev at an agency. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, he had high pressure sales. Let me tell you. You know.
Yeah, no, he sounds. I mean, listen, this is their stock and trade. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was my. Definitely the best gift I've ever given my mother, and
the real theme to this episode is how generous you are to your mother. You know what? I call my mother. I spend time with her. I find that to be quite generous. I give of myself.
And you've given her no Turkish rugs? Zero?
No, but she's very proud of the money that I've saved and of my clean shelf bare of capybara statues. The one other class of souvenir that I find serves me quite well, and it fits all my 3 Ps, is that I like to try to get a Christmas ornament from anywhere that I go, because that way, when I'm putting up the Christmas tree, it's like reliving all the past travels.
You are a Christmas ornament guy. I mean, this is something I know about you.
I am.
Yeah.
I love setting up the Christmas tree, setting up the Christmas ornaments. And
you have to get a bigger tree each time, you know? Like, I feel like you're going to hit peak ornament soon.
Catherine understands. I'm working on a 3-tree plan.
Yeah.
Right now, I have one giant tree. I eventually, when we're in a house, I would like one specifically for the kitchen, one
kitchen tree.
specifically, the family tree in the family room, and then maybe one in the bedroom.
And then a Christmas tree in each of the 12 kids' rooms, because you are Catholic, so.
Right. But she isn't, very importantly. Yeah, absolutely. And so I love going through the process of setting up the Christmas tree because I get to relive all those trips. And the potency is very strong when you get to relive when you got that ornament. So I have a little Day of the Dead pig from Mexico City. I got a little guinea pig one from Peru. I have tens from the travels around the world. Tens. I mean, I wouldn't say hundreds, but someday hundreds. Maybe eventually I could have a travel tree. Actually, I would love to have a travel tree up.
Just leave it up year round.
365 days a year. Travel tree. I'm going to add that to it's a 4-tree plan now, honey. If you're listening, it's a 4-tree plan.
I think for like a week when I was 18, I decided I was going to buy shot glasses everywhere I went. So I have like a Delaware shot glass. I have a Virginia shot. I mean, it's a beautiful collection.
I think trying to start a series can help hone your souvenir shopping. Because
Definitely.
it gives me purpose for exactly what I'm looking for. And I would say maybe the best one I have, the most fun one I have it's from Malaysia, and it is just a perfectly normal orb, globe kind of ornament, but it has the Malaysian flag on it. And the Malaysian flag, if you've never seen it, it looks exactly like an American flag. It's red and white stripes, 14 stripes, not 13 stripes. But where the stars should be is the Muslim crescent. It's
wow.
Donald Trump's worst fear is the Malaysian flag.
That's what our flag will look like if that caravan gets to the southern border.
Right. Everybody knows there are. He hasn't said there are Malaysians among them, but he probably thinks that covers Middle Easterners.
Yeah, he's not aware of
not
Malaysia.
Big on geography.
No.
And so I love that I have this sort of Muslim ornament that sits atop my Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's lovely.
And every year, it maybe this year I could narrate, take people through. At the very least, I'll put on our Instagram a bunch of my travel ornaments. Souvenirs.
I think an episode where we talk about your Christmas tree would be thrilling. I think that people would tune in. The very special Christmas episode.
Listen, anyone who follows me on Instagram knows the Schmornaments, one of my most popular times of the year. The Schmidt ornaments, one for every day of December leading up to Christmas. It helps get everybody excited.
I can't help think of you as like Linus, like putting your little like blanket around the little tree. I mean, that is my image of you decorating. I don't know if that's accurate, but
no, it's extremely accurate. It's troublingly accurate. All right. Well, any last thoughts on souvenirs?
No, I think this is an episode I'm going to keep in my heart forever.
Absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, I hope that we've given people sort of a way of thinking through, is it worth buying what you're buying? Maybe buy fewer things, but make sure that they're hitting all the Ps.
Always remember the 3 Ps.
And Ryan, since you say that, I know that you've remembered them. So tell me what those 3 Ps are.
Well, the first one, because it's you, is clearly price.
Price, that's right. That's one.
And the second one is practicality.
Oh, so close. Portability.
Portability. Practicality is a good one, though. Maybe it's 4 Ps.
Yeah, actually, practicality encompasses portability. Yeah. So that's swappable. I'll consider a swap.
And the third is profit. No, that's not profit. That's
Do you remember? It's something. Just looking at me should remind you. It's potency.
Potency. Yeah. Because I made that joke about Amsterdam. I remember now. Potency.
Yeah. Okay. Glad you haven't forgotten in the 15 minutes since you said that. All right. I think it might be time for the last stop.
The last stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last stop on this train. Everyone, please leave the train.
So, Kiernan, what is the last stop?
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a preview because I'm going to do a last stop about my trip to Iceland, which we're going to cover in more depth next week. And it's perfect for the holiday season that we're in. And it's this Icelandic tradition called the Yule Lads. Have you ever heard of the Yule Lads?
The Yule Lads? I have not heard of the Yule Lads.
Okay, so the Yule Lads, it's like Yuletide, Yule Log, the Yule Lads, Yule. Okay? And they are these characters in Icelandic folklore that go back many, many years. At the very least, they're recorded in a holiday poem in 1932. And what they are these kind of 13 little creeps, okay? They kind of look like elves, and they either reward or punish children for being good leading up to Christmas. So 13 days prior to Christmas, one Yule Lad each day visits you and either gives you a gift or puts rotten potatoes in your shoes.
And this was invented in 1936?
No, it's at least from 1932, but it actually predates that. Like the oral tradition of the 13 Yule Lads. They're kind of these nuisance little elves. And
these aren't like this is not racist like the Norwegian one, right? Or the Swedish one?
I know you're talking about Black Peter.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
So these are folks. This is not.
No, these are just normal creeps. Just standard creeps without any sort of racial tension or judgment.
Right.
But what's really fun about them is that each one has like a specific way that they are sort of troublesome around the house. So one harasses your family's sheep. That's the first one that comes. He harasses your family's sheep. The second one harasses your cows and steals the milk from your family. The third one licks your family's kitchenware, your pans. The fourth licks your spoons. And the third eats all the leftovers that you have in your pots.
And the name of that one I'm actually looking now is called Pot Scraper.
That's right. It's Pot Scraper.
Yeah.
The next one is Bowl Licker. So he goes after the bowl. So a lot of them.
Wait, say that again. Bowl?
Yeah, Bowl Licker.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Ryan, these are children. Good God. All right, just to run through the rest, because I mean, the fact that there are 13 is like shocking.
I'm upset that you skipped all these names. They're great. Like the Gollygawk.
I mean, I don't think we could probably pronounce these Icelandic names correctly.
The sausage swiper.
So the next ones are, you got the door slammer, you got the yogurt gobbler, you got the sausage swiper, you got the window peeper. You got the doorway sniffer. This is a guy who just walks up to your doors and windows and sniffs them. I don't know why that bothers people so much, but apparently it's a great nuisance around the house. And then the final two, one uses a meat hook to steal all your family's meat, and the last steals all your family's candles. And these are the 13 creepy Yule Lads. And so I love sort of obscure folklore and tradition like this. So these guys really tickled me. They have pictures and posters and books of them all over the place right now. And of course, what do you think my souvenir was that I got?
A bunch of miniature little Yule Lads.
I wanted to get them all as Christmas ornaments, and
Ah.
they did. However, because there are freaking 13 of them, it would have cost me over $100 to buy the full set.
And we know your limit is solidly $70.
At the very most, that uppermost. No, but like it felt these were not great ornaments. Okay, so
Right.
yeah. So I decided that I would just settle on one, and I went for the pot liquor. I went for the pot liquor because I like to cook, and it was a very animated, fun little guy just licking away at a bunch of pots. I have to say I was very tempted by the sausage swiper, who was holding a bunch of sausage links that he had stolen from some bad children. But anyway, it really reminded me why I love going to places, because I had read enormous amounts about Iceland before I went. And somehow the Yule Lads had never come up. It's the sort of thing that only comes across when you get to a place and you get to observe how people live.
And we should link to this hilarious poem.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We can link to the poem that describes them. And I would also like to post a bunch of pictures of these guys to the Instagram, because it definitely puts me in the holiday spirit. All these little creeps. Well, I wish Americans had more of a creep tradition inside the Christmas holidays.
Well, we have coal in your stocking if you misbehave.
Yeah, that's not that creepy. It's just a little coal.
Yeah. I mean, I think Santa himself is a little bit creepy. He comes into your house, he eats a little bit of food, you know? I mean,
he sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake. That stuff is creepy, yeah. So we got a moderate creep factor.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have enough creepy holidays. We have the 4th of July, we have Halloween, you know, these are creepy.
Well, anyway, the Yule Lads, perhaps we can tie in the Yule Lads for the delivery of our gift to our listeners, that tagline that's finally going to be done on Christmas Day.
The tagline snifter will come by and
sniffer, not snifter, you drunk. All right, Ryan. Do you have a last stop?
I do. You know, your last stop, as usual, has you know, I was going to do the Yule Lads, but I'm pivoting. I'm pivoting.
Yule Lads.
No, so I just got back from Mexico City. And I was supposed to be there to enjoy the Day of the Dead festivities.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I had asked you to really figure out that makeup situation.
Right.
Very interested in.
Well, it is most definitely true that you can get makeup done. Plenty of folks are doing makeup professionally around Mexico City during that week. Like, you see people have signs, you see people getting it done. So that I think is not that interesting. What happened to me, though, was I ate a pigskin taco.
Oh, sounds really good.
It was really good. Well, I had 3 different kinds of pork tacos, 2 that were more normal, and then the third one I kind of pointed at the meat that was like way in the back there, you know?
And they gave you a look like, este meat? Este carne?
Yeah, he gave me a look like, are you sure? Like, and I'm like, of course I'm sure, you know?
Absolutely. Just scratch that mold right off. Yeah. I'll dig in.
So I knew it was a risk. It was delicious, but then for 2 days I didn't really get to leave my my Airbnb.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. Exactly.
Now, how did this feed your wanderlust? I'm curious how this fits into the last stop. I must say, sounds like you just want to brag about your last stop having been in the bathroom.
Well, I know. I don't have a whole lot to say about the Day of the Dead. But I did have 2 excellent meals.
You were almost Day of the Dead.
Yeah. I had 2. I lost a couple pounds. I did have a couple meals that didn't make me sick. I had and you've had this too, actually, because we talked about it. The fish lunch special at Contramar.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's green, half green and half red. Incredible, beautiful presentation. I had never been there.
And the green and the red are what, different salsas that they put on top of it,
2 different sauces
right?
they put on it. Exactly. Yeah. One's a pesto sauce and one's a more spicy, like chili-based sauce. Could not recommend it more. It was so delicious.
Did you make a reservation?
I did make a reservation. Yeah, I made it online. They had an open table, so that was easy.
Oh, that is easy. Wow. Open table getting on it.
And then I had a wild brunch at this, absolutely wild, Kieran. I mean,
wild in the same way as those 3 tacos made you go wild?
No, more. It was not that kind of wild. This is an Indian Indian, African, Mexican sort of a fusion place called Masala Imaze.
Oh, yeah. That was recently reviewed in the New York Times, right?
Exactly. You gave me a heads
I did.
up
I
on
recommended
this.
that too. Yes, there was a lead-in for you to praise me.
And so I tried to make a reservation. In fact, it's a very funny email chain I should probably publish of just two people speaking past each other trying to make a reservation. Like I would say, I'd like a reservation for, reservation at your restaurant. And they wrote back like, yes, when would you like to come? And then I wrote back when I would like to come. And they go, we are not open then. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, when are you open? So it was like a 40,
well, why didn't you specify? I would like a reservation on this day between these hours.
Finally, I did. I did. And they told me they didn't take reservations for that time.
Oh, great.
So I just showed up in the morning, first thing, like 11 a.m. And it was so fantastic. The restaurant is just one long table. And everything is share plates. And I would say it was one of the most interesting and inspired sort of brunches I've had in a really long time. And the flavor, it was just so much fun. And the place was packed. And like I said, it's super skinny. So everybody's sort of like smushed together and having a great time.
Fusion, that can go either way, but here it works.
Well, I said on my Instagram, I called it fusion. And then when I clicked to look at their restaurant, they say, this is not fusion. It's like one of their main...
Me think the lady doth protest too much.
Well, I don't quite know what to call it then if it's not fusion. It's multiple cultures that are not fused together, but they are adjacent. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely fantastic. And the New York Times article mentioned they had been shut down by Mexican authorities because they didn't pay their bribes. And they figured out a way to open up again without having to pay any bribes, and that's like a big part of their sort of...
Good on them.
I know.
So they're also righteous restaurateurs.
They are righteous restaurateurs. Yeah,
fantastic.
And I would recommend it. Beautiful Instagrammable food, and
there's more to food than how that Instagrams, Ryan. But it also tasted good.
It tasted great.
And you felt healthy and fine afterwards.
I did. I felt healthy and fine. And while I'm giving out Mexico City restaurant recs, I'll give a shout out to my buddies at Cicatriz. I have a couple of friends from New York who opened a restaurant in Mexico City about 1.5 years ago, and it's called Cicatriz. It's a fantastic sort of Brooklyn-inspired wine bar.
What's the name? Cicatriz?
Cicatriz. And it means scar in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, are they deeply scarred individuals?
I think after opening a restaurant, everybody's emotionally scarred, so...
All right. Well, so next week we will be taking a deep dive into Iceland. Which I wasn't able to travel to the north, but boy, oh boy, did I do a job to the south. So we'll talk about Iceland, and I think we might even have a little bit of a recalculating about a mistake we had on Iceland a few weeks ago. So tune in for that.
Until then, I'm Ryan Davis.
And I'm Kiernan Schmidt.
And we are Out of Office,
a travel podcast.
Is this seat taken?
Maybe. Only Christmas will tell.
Bye, folks.